Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there, producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you enjoyed a wild weekend of college football. Oregon, Ohio State delivered a classic. Ole Miss gave one away down at LSU. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, Damichael Cole is going to join me. Of course, covers the Grizzlies for the Commercial Appeal. Opening night is next week. Damichael Cole going to help us get ready for it. He'll be here in about 20 minutes. When I finish talking to Damichael, we're going to take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we will discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, we are now just one day away from Penny Hardaway's Tigers hosting North Carolina inside FedEx Forum in the Hoops for St. Jude Tip-Off Classic. You probably heard after our show ended Friday, the Tigers were picked second in the AAC. That's not encouraging. We'll talk Tiger basketball in about 40 minutes. Game 1 of the NLCS was held last night inside Dodger Stadium. It did not go well for the Mets. Final score 9-0 Los Angeles. We'll spend a few minutes on that. Just a few. A little later on in the show, I'm not going to spend even 1 second on Arizona State football in the opening segment while we're talking college football. But during 5 more things, I do want to show you the post-game interview from Arizona State head coach Kenny Dillingham, who happens to be a former Memphis assistant. Special moment after his Sun Devils beat nationally ranked Utah. We'll show it to you. We'll do that in the third segment. The Knicks and Timberwolves recently made a big trade. So when those two teams met yesterday, emotions were kind of high. Dante DiVincenzo went viral for something he didn't actually do. I'll explain that weird situation in the second hour. The Dallas Cowboys, God bless them, they were humiliated yesterday by the Detroit Lions. 47-9 was the final score. It was an embarrassing home loss on Jerry Jones' birthday. Woo! We'll dive into that disaster during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then in about 80 minutes, looking forward to this, Ole Miss guard Dre Davis is going to join me. He's 6'6" transfer from Seton Hall. He averaged 15 points per game last season in the Big East. Was a part of one of only 3 teams that beat UConn last season. He's now expected to be an important piece of an NCAA tournament team down in Oxford. Dre Davis going to be here in about 80 minutes. Then we'll eventually do Jeep out and call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with college football because it's a fun and interesting weekend of college football. Weekend headline nationally, at least, by Oregon's 32-31 victory over Ohio State in prime time. Fun game. Ohio State led in the first quarter. Oregon led in the second quarter. Ohio State took the lead back in the third quarter. And then there were 3 lead changes in the fourth quarter, the last of which came with 107 seconds remaining when Oregon's Atticus Sappington made a 19-yard field goal, put the Ducks ahead 32-31. Ohio State gets the ball back after that, obviously. And then they're driving. And then Will Howard, the quarterback, he takes off running. Do you see this? It's 3rd and 20. 6 seconds left. He takes off running. He gains 12 yards before he slides. And he had Ohio State in field goal range. But by the time he slid, time had expired. Ducks win, Buckeyes lose. And now Oregon coach Dan Lanning, 38-year-old former Memphis assistant, he's 28-5 as a head coach since taking over Oregon's program in December 2021. Year 1, he was 10-3 with a win in the Holiday Bowl. Year 2, 12-2 with a win in the Fiesta Bowl. Year 3, 6-0 so far with a victory over Ohio State and a number 2 ranking in the AP poll heading into Friday's game. That's going to be against Purdue. In other words, Dan Lanning is now in a group, I think, with Mike Tomlin as dudes who went on to massive things after working inside the Memphis football program without ever actually running the Memphis football program. Mike Tomlin graduate assistant at Memphis in 1996. 11 years after that, he becomes the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he's quite literally never had a losing season in 17 years as a head coach. Won a Super Bowl in January 2003. Currently, Steelers 4-2, tied with Baltimore atop the AFC North standings. That's the best former Memphis assistant, I think. But Dan Lanning, he's climbing the list. He's climbing the list pretty quickly. Yeah. He appears to be one of the elite coaches in the country, even though he hasn't even hit 40 yet. And ESPN's College Game Day, they had a nice piece on him and his wife on Saturday morning that was centered around the time that they were at Memphis when his wife was diagnosed with cancer. I don't know if you had a chance to see the Game Day piece.
I didn't see it.
It was really sweet, and there was a lot of Memphis in there. Mike Norvell, of course, interviewed as well. But yeah, when Dan and his family were living here, his wife was diagnosed with cancer. She seems to be doing wonderful now, but that was a scary time, as they explained. You think you're frustrated with maybe your career is not exactly where you wanted it to be yet, and then something really real hits you, like your wife has cancer. Mm-hmm. That other stuff doesn't seem so important anymore. Beautiful story that they were able to tell. Jen Latta handled it for ESPN, and I think if you weren't a Dan Lanning fan before the piece, it'd be hard not to be a Dan Lanning fan after you watch that piece. Bennett, can you describe yourself as a Dan Lanning fan? I can describe myself that way.
Yeah, I think I can. I'm not going to sit here and act like I remember his time well here in Memphis, right? But,
you ready for this? Yeah. I don't even know if I ever met him.
Right, but I do. When I hear him talk, the one thing that stands out when you bring him up actually is last season, the big speech he gave his team before the Colorado game.
I know, we both remember that.
Yeah, and I liked that. Like, I liked the way that he approached that with his team, and I just kind of like Oregon. Like, I've always kind of had a soft spot for the Ducks. They got cool uniforms. Like, they're kind of fun.
We've hosted exchange students, as you know. One of them was Sylvia. And one of the things we would do when she lived with us is, like, we'd just stay up watching football at night.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was Oregon football games. And she decided she liked Oregon as well.
Yeah, man.
And so I texted a basketball coach I knew at Oregon. I was like, we got an exchange student, and like she knows nothing about football. She's from Italy, but she has become an Oregon football fan. Next thing you know, we got a Oregon gear shipped to the house. I still got Oregon. I probably wore my Oregon Duck shorts this weekend. If I'd have thought about it, I'd have worn in studio today for you, Bennett. I like Oregon as well. I don't remember Dan Lanning's time at Memphis. Like, I don't remember going, Dan Lanning. I don't remember talking about Dan Lanning a lot when he was at Memphis. But he was here. This is, as he explained, his first real job where you feel like you're getting real direct deposits and proper insurance coverage and all of that stuff. That was right here in Memphis, Tennessee. And obviously he's gone on to tremendous things. Oregon looks like a legitimate national championship contender. So the Ducks were nationally the big winner. Locally here in SEC country, Alabama had to rally to avoid losing to South Carolina at home. That might have ended that state. After last weekend's loss to Villanova, it might have just been over for the whole state of Alabama.
Yeah.
But the Crimson Tide escaped 27-25. They improved to 5-1 on the season. Tennessee beat Florida 23-17 in overtime. Vanderbilt won again. This time at Kentucky.
Shout out to Vanderbilt.
Maybe Vanderbilt's legit. Maybe I need to zip my lips when talking about Vanderbilt, because they might be a little more legit than I realized this time last week. As you put it, anchor down, hoes.
Anchor down, hoes. Let's go.
Okay, so Vanderbilt gets another win. Memphis beat USF.
Yes.
I saw you tweet about it. You were proud of them.
Well, I was just it wasn't like the prettiest game. It wasn't a dominating victory, but I think considering all the circumstances surrounding the game, it gets moved to a different day, it gets moved to a different city.
They had to overcome adversity.
Yeah, they had to overcome a little adversity just to go out there and handle business. I felt really good about that one.
They had to handle adversity. They had to deal with adversity.
Yep.
And they dealt with it fairly well.
Yes, they did.
They win the game 21-3. They're now 5-1 on the season, with the lone loss coming on the road to a Navy team that's now ranked 25th in the AP poll. Navy might be good.
No, they are good.
I think they are good.
Well, they got freaking. It looks like they got the next Jaden Daniels at quarterback.
Wow,
that dude. He's amazing, man. Yeah.
Next up for the Tigers, North Texas. That's going to be home on Saturday night. Mean Green coming to the Liberty Hall. You fired up?
No,
Just
no,
you can't get fired
no.
up.
And again, look, man, it is not their fault.
I was hoping you'd be fired up.
No, it is not their fault. Like, I am always just going to stand on how much I hate the conference that we're in. I'm sorry. That's just where I'm always going to be at. I love my football team. I will always root for them. I will always go to games, but it just sucks being in this conference, and I'm never going to change on that.
I can't argue with the word you just said.
No.
There's not a word you just said that I'm going to try to
Like, you're
argue
coming
with.
off a win, now you get to play North Texas. Okay.
It just feels...
It's just deflating. Like, give me any kind of, like, relevant program.
I'm not saying...
No offense to North Texas. No offense to Mean Green.
Because I feel like this always plays the wrong way when it comes from a Memphian or a Memphis fan or a Memphis graduate or a Memphis media member. Some of us are all of those things.
Yeah.
You say things like, man, this conference sucks. And then, like, North Texas, and they're like, bro, you don't ever win it.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I know. Trust me, I know.
So, like, I understand, like, it doesn't always sound right coming from a Memphian's mouth. But I think, if you allow me to speak for Memphians, I think this is what we mean. We know it's not actually beneath us.
No.
It just feels like it is.
No, I'm not sitting here saying Memphis is better than the AAC. They shouldn't be in the AAC because they're better than all these teams in the AAC. No, I'm saying being in the AAC sucks.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the same thing. We're saying the same thing.
Yes.
We're not saying that, God, the thing about being in the ACC that sucks so much is that Memphis will never lose again. It'll just win everything because this conference is so beneath the University of Memphis. No. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying it feels beneath. We're
not having fun.
We used to have a better house and we used to have a better neighborhood. We don't like our neighborhood anymore. All our neighbors left us. We used to be neighbors with Louisville and Cincinnati and Houston and UConn. And they all left us and moved in a better neighborhood. Yeah. And then you weirdos moved in, and you don't really take care of your yard the way they used to.
No.
And it is nothing personal. You're probably doing the best you can do. But we didn't used to live in a neighborhood with you, and now we do, and that's frustrating.
Yes. Very frustrating.
Congrats to Tennessee fans and Vanderbilt fans and Memphis fans. 3 biggest Division I programs in the state of Tennessee all picked up victories this weekend. Can't say the same about our friends in Mississippi, though, and that's because Mississippi State lost at Georgia. Southern Miss lost at home to Louisiana Monroe.
Okay.
I had to look
Shout out Southern Miss.
I had to look it up.
Yeah,
but
shout out to the Eagles. Yep.
It's true. They're struggling in Hattiesburg, and then Ole Miss blew one down at LSU in a way that might have ended any realistic hopes of Lane Kiffin's Rebels making the first 12-team college football playoff. Final score, LSU 29, Ole Miss 26 in overtime. Simply put, Ole Miss just gave it away. They were up 10-0 in the second quarter. In fact, after taking a 3-0 lead early in the second quarter, they led the entire way until LSU scored with 27 seconds left in regulation after not 1 but 2 successful fourth down conversions. So then the game goes to overtime, tied 23-23. Ole Miss kicks a field goal. LSU scored a touchdown. Final score, LSU 29, Ole Miss 26. Rebels are now 5-2, down to number 18 in the AP poll. The good news is that they are the highest-rated 2-loss team in the country. The bad news is that they're a 2-loss team with 5 games left in the regular season, including next month's game with Georgia. The bad news is that they're likely going to end up as a 3-loss team or worse, and a 3-loss team with, as of right now, I don't know if you noticed, no truly impressive victories, ain't making the college football playoff. Big Bet Bender, you want to send your condolences to your friends down at Ole Miss?
I kind of do.
You want to just say, hey, I'm sorry, this didn't really go the way you wanted it to go?
Just because, like, this was it. Like, this was the year, right? To get in. I mean, you knew you were going to come in and have a good team. This was the year to get into the playoff, and I just don't think any 3-loss teams are getting in no matter what.
I'd be surprised.
There's going to be so many 2-loss good teams out there that I just don't think a 3-loss team is getting in. Now, if they were on the table, different story.
If you told me right now Ole Miss doesn't lose again before the selection process, I tell you, I think they're in. I just don't think they're going to not lose again. Do they look like a team to you that's not going to lose again?
No.
Yeah, they don't look like a team to me that's not going to lose again.
No.
Have you noticed, by the way, the mighty SEC? Everybody's losing, except Texas. Texas is the only.
They're amazing. That's crazy.
Texas is the only undefeated team.
First year in the league.
SEC.
Look at Texas, man. Some of these teams, like we just talked about Oregon, like some of these teams are not having trouble adjusting to their new conferences.
The Big Ten has 3 undefeated teams right now. Oregon, new conference, Penn State and Indiana.
Yep.
ACC has 2, Miami and Pitt. Big 12 has 2, Iowa State and BYU. Even the American has 2 undefeated teams, Army and Navy.
Crazy.
SEC only has 1, the same number as Conference USA. Right now, Texas is the Liberty of the SEC.
How about that?
And Liberty is the Texas of Conference USA. Right now, CBS Sports has their bowl projections, playoff projections, and Texas is in as the SEC champ auto bid, number 1 overall seed. That makes sense. Alabama's in as a 6th seed. Georgia's in as the 7th seed. Texas A&M in as the 11th seed. Right now, the SEC would only have 4 teams in the 12-team college football playoff, according to current projections. When you start the season with 4 teams ranked in the top 6 of the AP poll, 5 teams ranked in the top 11, 8 teams ranked in the top 16, 9 teams ranked in the top 20, you don't expect to only get 4 in a 12-team college football playoff. But that's how things are projected to go for that league right now. SEC, they got the number 1 team in the country, but some of their perceived title contenders, other perceived title contenders, have already taken big hits. Ole Miss among them. 2-loss Ole Miss team. That gets them there.
Yes.
Any more losses, you're just going to get to play in a nice bowl game, I guess.
I think so.
That's probably where we're at. Can't give them away.
So. No.
Can't turn wins into losses. And that's what they did. They took a win. This is in our back pocket. We're taking this home with us. And they flipped it into a loss. 2 fourth-down conversions on that final drive in regulation. And then you can't score a touchdown in overtime. And they smacked you and got you. Disappointing. Always next year, though, you know?
Guess so.
Always.
That's what they say. That's what they like to say.
Always next year. Damichael Cole covers the Grizzlies for the Commercial Appeal. I'm going to talk NBA with him next. It's the Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
At Southland Casino Hotel, it's time to work hard, play hard with our $500,000 giveaway. Earn entries October through November 9th and take home free play and amazing prizes on select Saturdays, including a big rig. Stay connected on social media for weekly drawing clues. Join us November 9th for the grand finale drawing where you could drive off in a 4-wheeler, side-by-side, or big rig. Work hard and play harder at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Maxwell in concert. The Serenade Tour. October 16th at FedEx Forum. Maxwell. With special guest Jasmine Sullivan. And October London. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. You don't miss Maxwell live.
We got to talk about the best wrestling that we watched all week.
you're up.
I think Brunson Reed and Braun Strowman put on a 5-star match in 60 seconds. I've never seen it happen before. Brunson Reed chunks the fan at Braun. I'm like, where the hell did that dude come from?
I got a tweet saying it's a good thing they're not in Memphis, or else that would have been one of the Memphis wrestling guys getting hurled.
Exactly.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South. Damichael Cole covers the Grizzlies for the Commercial Appeal. We got another preseason game tonight. This one up in Indianapolis, inside the house that Caitlin Clark built. I don't think that's exactly right. Damichael Cole's in studio now. What's up, man? How you been?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
You should be riding the high right now.
Well,
I see the hat.
I was riding the high up until Shohei showed up.
Yeah.
Everything was easier when Shohei wasn't involved. Like the MLB account late yesterday afternoon, they tweet a picture of Shohei like walking into Dodger Stadium. You know how they do. The NBA does, and it's like Shohei has a ride for Game 1 of the NLCS, and I was like, shit. I was hoping he wasn't going to show up. I was hoping he wouldn't arrive, but he arrived. He got a couple of hits. It is what it is. Game 2 today.
Yep.
Game 2 today. We'll see how that one goes. How you been?
I'm doing pretty good. Enjoying. Well, the off season's over now, but it was a fun off season. Got to do a little bit of traveling. Got to spend time with the family and friends. Now it's that time of the year again. Like, I got that itch. I'm ready.
Do you? I get a little bit like this too. I love my off season as it pertains to college basketball. Like I never am not working, but things do slow down when the college basketball season ends. I enjoy the off season, but around this time of the year, I'm like, I'm just ready to get going. I'm just not necessarily like going and leave home. I'm just ready to. I'm tired of talking about what I think something's going to be.
Oh my goodness!
And I'm just ready to see it.
Yes, that's all the questions that right. Like, how do you project this to happen? Right. How do you project that to happen? What do you think is going to be this? What do you think? But at some point, it's like the Grizzlies players. You can tell they're tired of talking about. Right. Like they just want to go show what they can do.
So tonight is another preseason game. They're playing 5 in total.
Yep.
Is that too many? Should we cut this back?
I think 4 is the number, and you kind of build in 3-day gaps in between. Like this is, they played, I think, Thursday, and now Saturday, and then now Monday. So that's regular season type schedule, especially with the travel built in. They played the first one in Memphis, and then they went to Chicago, Indy. Short travel, but still, I'm more for 4 preseason games, 3 days in between. So then, if teams want to play their best players, like you're making it easy on them. Like, of course, I don't think people should have expected the Grizzlies to play most of their guys on Saturday, and then they'll probably mix in some guys on today, and then some guys will probably still be out because of the fact that there's this short turnaround. So I like the idea of preseason. Every player that you talk to will tell you there's a difference between shape and basketball shape. So you need these games in a way, but you can put a bigger gap in between them and for school.
Do you have a sense for how much they need them to actually get ready? In other words, what Patrick Mahomes might tell you is, I don't need any preseason. Just tell me when it's week 1, and I'll run out on the field when it's time to go. In the NFL, that is the prevailing thought among superstars. Like, I'm not even taking a snap, playing a snap in the preseason. How much do basketball players need preseason games? And if they do actually need them, you think the right number is around 4?
Yeah, I think it's circumstantial and situational for some teams. If you're a team, the Celtics. The Celtics pretty much entire starting 5's back. A lot of continuity, around the team.
They know how to play.
Yeah, 1 game. All right, we're good.
Right.
Let's get ready to go. The Grizzlies, you're installing an entirely new offense. You're incorporating a new starter in Zach Edey. And then you have a bunch of guys who know how to play basketball, but Marcus Smart's only played, 6 games with Ja Morant. Right. You want to see a little bit of that. So I think for a team like the Grizzlies, you want to see the starters 2 or 3 times maybe. But at the end of the day, it's an 82-game season. So preseason isn't a huge deal to me. It's just more of a shape thing because you don't want those all across the NBA. Soft tissue injuries always happen in the preseason, and they've been happening. We focused on the Jaren Jackson Jr. hamstring thing here, but you go across the league, there have been a lot of growing hamstring things with teams because it's early. Right. But over the course of an 82-game season, what you'll see is a lot of players will kind of ramp up and build up over the course of the season. And it's a long season. And the Grizzlies, in their case, the last 2 times that they won 50-plus games, they got off to slow starts. Right. The 56-win season is everyone's favorite year, 2022. They were roughly 7-8 seed until, December? Yeah. And then they took off, went on that win streak, and didn't look back. So beginning of the season, it is what it is. You're just trying to find yourself.
I think we were all hoping the big headlines coming out of the preseason would be Zach Edey is incredible or Ja Morant looks amazing. Yeah. Instead, it's Ja Morant is injured and Jaren Jackson is injured. And we know Gigi and Vince are out, at least for the beginning of the regular season. Should Grizzlies fans be concerned, or is this truly just precautionary stuff? Everything's fine, don't freak out.
It's precautionary. But there still should be some mild concern. I think it is what it is. From what we know, okay, Jaren Jackson Jr., Ja Morant, Marcus Smart, all those dudes, first game of the season, they'll be on the floor, barring something else happening. Right. But based on the situations that they have right now, they're fine. If it was a regular season game, Ja Morant for sure, Marcus Smart for sure would be able to play. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. is ramping up a little bit here, but he's pretty much going to be ready to go without a doubt by the start of the regular season. I think even a guy like Vince Williams Jr., he's not far behind. He's starting to do some individual things, and he's eventually going to work into that 1-on-1, 3-on-3 portion of practice, and he'll be ready to go probably 2 weeks into the season, if that. So they're in a good spot. It's just the fact that when you hear these injury things, I think there's a PTSD. Sure. And rightfully so. I mean, you saw 33, 34 players take the floor last season. It's just something we've never seen in NBA history. So I think the right way to put it is they should not be concerned about the current injuries, but there should be, I don't know if concerned, but should be cautioned by the fact that, Ja Morant has missed some games, even in the season that he's been healthy. You talk about 57 games played a couple years ago, 61 games the year before that. So he's missed a decent amount of games. Jaren was healthy last season, and he started the season before that with the foot injury. He was pretty much healthy after that point. Dez has had a couple things flare up. You just want to see this team kind of build up, a nice build of health here. I know Marcus Smart's dealt with some injuries the last couple years. And he's talked about it jokingly about the idea that now he's, 30 and he's healing a little bit slower. So I think the way to approach it is right now with the things they're dealing with, they're fine. But long term, you really hope that these guys can all play, over 60 games.
I've heard Dr. Devin Walker over in the other studio say that he thinks Vince has grown, is taller, and that could be some sort of connection to the issue. I don't know. I'm going to leave that up to Dr. Devin. Dr. Devin, but you're around Vince all the time. Yeah. Does he look taller to you?
I don't know if he looks taller. I see they've listed him as taller. Okay. I think he's 6'6". He's listed there now. To me, it's always been the arms when it comes to Vince Williams Jr. He's always had, even when he was quote-unquote 6'4", 6'5"-ish, or whatever the case may be, he had longer arms than, obviously, Desmond Bane, but he had longer arms than Luke Kennard. He had longer arms than a lot of the guards and the wings that the Grizzlies have. So that's kind of been his calling card defensively. So if he's 6'6" now, I mean, he's already a good defender. I mean, he said it himself. He wants to be all defense this year. That's right. That'll help his case.
You mentioned Ja Morant. Yeah. Obviously, nobody knows for sure, at least not from where I'm sitting, but all of the things you hear are positive coming out of the preseason. I saw Shams Charania, who's now the lead NBA insider at ESPN, in an interview over the past week, say, when I talk to people in Memphis, all I'm hearing is really good stuff. The commercial that, I don't know.
It's everywhere now.
It's everywhere now. Like, I'm watching the NLCS, and it's in there. I mean, you couldn't have watched sports this weekend without bumping into the Ja Morant commercial. Right. And it's not just highlights. It's him acknowledging some stuff and talking about it's time to get up. And I'm going to make you love me more. It just suggests that he has taken some ownership of this stuff and he understands what has happened and he seems to have an idea of how to fix it.
He's turned a corner for sure. And the best way that I put it to people is if you go back to Ja Morant last year, there was an awareness from the standpoint of I messed up. But after the fact, he was very sheltered. Didn't really say much, kind of closeted. Of course, around his teammates, it was a little bit different. But when the cameras and things were around, very sheltered. This year, he's back.
Right.
Like, and like I said, when the camera's around. So even when he was going out doing things in the community, it still was like pop-up style events and things like that. Now, he's back to, hey, Ja Morant will be here on tomorrow at this event, things like that. It's the small things like that. And then when he engages, of course, with us, with the media, the way he's interacting just when the cameras are around, you can tell it feels like Ja a couple years ago from he's getting the looseness back. He's a little bit smarter now. You haven't heard, too many those. I'm
fine in the West and that stuff.
You haven't heard too many of those. So I think he's definitely turned the corner. Like the ownership part comes in the fact that he's willing to talk about those things, but at the same time, you sense that he's like, all right, I know what I did wrong. I'm ready to kind of rewrite this thing.
I noticed a lot of the same stuff you noticed because he did. For a period of time go into, I don't want to say a shell because that's overstating it, but I just noticed when he walked into media day the other day, he was like eye contact with everybody. Yeah. What's up? How are you? Good to see you. He was engaged.
It's different.
And he wasn't always like that over the past year or so.
No, right. Exactly. He was just very,
It felt lighter.
Yeah. Like he kind of had almost like a shell around him because of the fact that, everything was going on. It's like, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to mess up.
It got ugly. He got beat down. Yeah. And he lived on social media, and he was getting beat down on social media, and that's hard.
Yeah. He went live on Instagram a week or two ago and joked about it. Like you talk about the ownership, like he's you can tell he's more comfortable about it. He said, this is the good live, not the bad ones. Like this is what he said, not anyone else. So he's owning it. He's joking about it. And, that's a sign that someone's kind of like growing, out of, a previous situation.
When you can laugh at yourself. And I understand this is a serious thing, so it's not like all chuckles time. Yeah. But when you can laugh at yourself or your shortcomings, it makes other people's jokes less effective.
Yeah, that too, for sure.
And so, I like all of what I've seen there. Jess, I was in studio with her this morning. She asked me, from Grizzlies preseason, what has stood out most? I want to present the same question to you. What would you say? How would you answer that?
I'm going to answer it in two different ways here. If you want individual with players, I'm just going to be honest. There hasn't been a lot of things that really have just wowed me.
Right.
Everything is just fairly new. Now on to the other side of that. This new offense is different. And that's clear to the viewers, but I say that because this isn't the first year where Taylor Jenkins and the Grizzlies staff have kind of come into a season and say, hey, we're looking to make some changes offensively. I remember coming into last season, we were hearing about the first gear, the second gear. You remember the gears of the offense. And then the season started. Of course, Ja Morant was out, but I'm like, this looks kind of similar to last year. Like Marcus Smart, pick and roll, settling for jumpers. It looks kind of similar, and then the numbers reflected that. But this season, they're playing at this very fast pace. You're seeing guys. Santi Aldama said it best to me because I saw it, but to hear a Grizzlies player actually say it stood out to me. He said basically, we're not just standing in the corner anymore. We're not just, where everyone's cutting. There's a little bit more movement, and that not only helps the guy with the ball like Ja Morant, but that keeps guys more involved. Like Tyus Jones, when Tyus Jones was in at point guard, is the best example. You probably noticed when Tyus Jones was in at point guard those 2 seasons, those previous 2 50-win seasons, and when Ja Morant was in at point guard, the Grizzlies shot better from three-point range when Tyus Jones was in. Same players,
right?
But they shot better from three-point range. And the reason is because when the ball is naturally touching more guys' hands, it's easier for you to get in the rhythm.
And stay in one.
Exactly, and stay in one. Whereas when Ja was in the game, of course, Ja's super dynamic. Right. We all acknowledge how amazing he is. But there were certain times, certain players, Dylan Brooks complained about it, even though he probably wasn't the right player to complain about it. Right. But he complained about it sometimes about the fact that a lot of things weren't drawn up for him. And, he's touching the ball, catch it, shoot it, get back on defense. That's right. It's hard to get in the rhythm that way for any player, even the best shooters. So now you got more guys just saying, hey, I can move with a purpose. I know if I cut, the ball might actually come to me. And I'm touching the basketball to get more in the rhythm. So I think you're going to see more of what happened with Tyus, kind of just when Ja's on the floor too. So the offensive change has been the biggest thing to me. We still don't know if it's going to, take this offense to new heights. But I'm acknowledging the fact that it is different, which is worth acknowledging to me.
Is it possible that this new offense will be primarily used but not entirely used? In other words, we could look up in the second quarter and they have temporarily scrapped that. Let's just set high ball screens and let Ja cook.
Yeah, right. Because
they're going to bounce in and out of it.
They're going. The downside, if you want to be nitpicky with the whole idea with this new offense, everyone touching the ball, is you take the ball out of Ja Morant's hands a little bit more. And
I've heard two things. One is you take the ball out of Ja's hands a little bit more. Is that smart? And then, you spend a top 10 pick on a guy who
he's not getting the touches.
Isn't a sprinter.
Yeah,
hey, let's draft a guy who's not a sprinter and let's sprint.
Yeah, it's not really conducive to
in some people's minds.
Yeah,
these are at least things I've heard other people say. How would you address that?
Yeah, I think those are valid points for sure. Because obviously, when Brandon Clark's in the game, the Grizzlies are going to run a little bit better. Yeah. But at the same time, I look at it as with Ja Morant. For example, we know last season, like sometimes we overthink these things.
Sure.
When Ja Morant was on the floor and had the balls in his hands last year, the Grizzlies were amazing. Right. When he was off the floor and he didn't have the balls in his hands, they were not good. Right. So it's really that simple sometimes. But at the same time, you want to make sure other guys have a rhythm, other guys are more effective. So that's what the new offense is going to do. But there are going to be certain games, because there are matchup things too. There are going to be certain matchups where it's like, high pick and roll, Ja, Zach Edey, we can score whenever we want. Like, if it's working, let's just keep going to it. And that's going to happen, sometimes, because that's easy for them. That's a natural playing style for a guy like Ja and Zach Edey, rolling to the rim and doing some of those things as well. So I think, that's fair to say they're going to scrap it from time to time. But the main thing that they're pushing is the pace. And that's interesting to me because of the fact that in Taylor Jenkins' first 4 years, they were third. I think they were first, second, and second. Like, they were top 3 all 4 years. And then his 5th year, which was last year, all different players played. They were last in the NBA in transition points. So you can throw that one out the window.
Sure, yeah.
But the point is, they've always been one of the top transition scoring teams, and they have this idea of kind of strengthening what already is a strength. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. But overall, I like the fact that this new offense is getting more guys involved, but you got to make sure when the game's on the line or certain moments when the team's on a 7-0 run, just get the ball to Ja Morant and let's try to put an end to this thing.
Last thing before I get you out of here. It's always weird talking about what a success looked like for an NBA team in the regular season because we know they don't all value the regular season. Mm-hmm. Like even, the Nuggets last season as the reigning champs were like, we're not trying to be the 1 seed. Yeah. We're just trying to get there. Yeah. So first in the West, 6th in the West, whatever. Just if you and I are talking the day after it's all over, what would you consider a successful season for this version of these Grizzlies?
I think you want a first-round playoff series at home, so which would be a top 4 seed.
That's right.
That'd be the overall goal. But honestly, that's a question that's going to be best answered at the end of the season because with the Western Conference, everything I think this year will be matchup dependent. Every team will have certain teams where it's like, we play them, we're 4-0 them in the regular season, we can beat them. Mm-hmm. And then there will be certain teams like, if we can avoid them, let's try to avoid that one. Just off the top of my head, I'm thinking like some of the bigger teams probably could be problematic for the Grizzlies since the Grizzlies will probably be so good at scoring in the paint this season. So a team like the Timberwolves, right? A team possibly, we'll see how the Thunder look, but possibly the Thunder with Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren in the paint, like it's going to be a hard team to kind of penetrate, get to the paint. But there are other matchups, I think, like, the Suns. Jaren Jackson Jr. is super good against them, and Ja's going to get to the paint. They don't have a lot of rim protection there. That should be a favorable matchup for the Grizzlies. So everything's going to be matchup dependent, but you want to get a top 4 seed, which is plausible for them.
That's Damichael Cole from The Commercial Appeal. Make sure you read him over at commercialappeal.com. He's on X at Damichael C. Terrific as always, brother. I appreciate you being here.
Anytime, Gary. Anytime.
I appreciate you. When we come back, turn our attention to Tiger basketball. After our show ended on Friday, the AAC preseason poll came out, and Memphis was not picked to win it, even though Memphis is way ahead of everybody else in the league in the computers. I'll explain next. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
Justin Timberlake. I'm bringing sexy back. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
We got to talk about the best wrestling that we watched all week. You're up.
I think Brunson Reed and Braun Strowman put on a 5-star match in 60 seconds. I've never seen it happen before. Brunson Reed chunks the fan at Braun. I'm like, where the hell did that dude come from?
I got a tweet saying it's a good thing they're not in Memphis, or else that would have been one of the Memphis wrestling guys getting hurled.
Exactly.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Is Ja Morant the player in the NBA with the most approved going into this season?
Ja Morant is one of the best players in the world. He's one of the best players in the world.
On the court, there is no question, barring injury, that what Ja Morant is.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What do you think about this matchup against the Pirates and the Bison?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is who in the hell put Gus Johnson as the notable alumni selection when we got Kamala Harris right now that's more relevant? It's 28 people I would have named before I would have got the Gus Johnson.
My assumption is, Mike, Hampton will find a way to come up again. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Maxwell in concert. The Serenade Tour. October 16th at FedEx Forum. Maxwell. With special guest Jasmine Sullivan. And October London. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Maxwell Live.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
The Tigers are set to play North Carolina inside FedEx Forum tomorrow night. Hoops for St. Jude Tip-Off Classic. I just saw from the Bluff City Collective that an anonymous donor has this morning purchased 1,000 tickets.
Oh, nice.
To tomorrow night's doubleheader, which will also feature the Memphis women and the South Carolina women, led, of course, by the GOAT, Dawn Staley.
Yeah.
These 1,000 tickets will be distributed to local youth basketball programs around the city. So that's nice.
I love it.
Tip of the hat to whoever that anonymous donor was. And this all happens after a Friday that delivered a little bit of surprising news, at least for me. I don't want to speak for everybody because I've seen some other people say, hey, it's not that surprising.
Mm-hmm.
I was frankly surprised by it. That news being after our show ended on Friday, the AAC announced that Memphis was picked second in their preseason poll behind UAB. So contrary to what I'd been telling you over and over again all offseason, which is that even with all the chaos and roster turnover, Memphis is still going to be picked to win their league because Memphis still has a way more talented roster than anybody else in the league. That second part remains true. But the first part, not true. The AAC coaches said, nope, we're going with Andy Kennedy, not Penny Hardaway. Do you take offense? Are you offended? Do you find yourself offended?
I'm not necessarily offended. I mean, Andy Kennedy's had success everywhere he's been, including at UAB. And so I think that the voters are taking into account that he's just going to have another good team because he typically has good teams when he's a head coach. Now, obviously, the Tigers roster is better than the UAB roster. I think, one thing that they're probably saying there is we think Andy Kennedy's a better coach than Penny Hardaway. That's what's being said right there.
I don't know if anybody's saying exactly that, but what the coaches are saying with their votes is that we don't believe in this anymore. All right? You guys can keep telling us Memphis is going to be good every year, but, it never comes true, or at least it rarely comes true, so we ain't believing in it anymore. That's what's happened here.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, this is so unique in college basketball that I don't believe it's happening in literally any other conference. What I mean is this. We now have 2 computer rankings that are out. Lots of human rankings that are out. It shouldn't surprise you that Memphis is in almost nobody's top 25. But if you take it out to 35 or 45, they start to show up. They're 45th at John Rothstein's top 45. No other AAC team can even sniff that. You go to the computer rankings. Right now we have BartTorvik.com and KenPom.com, which updated late last night, early this morning. So at BartTorvik.com, Memphis is 32nd in the country. At KenPom, Memphis is 43rd in the country. The next best AAC team at BartTorvik.com is UAB, but they're 50 spots below Memphis.
Wow.
And at KenPom, the next best AAC team is actually North Texas, and they are 38 spots below Memphis. In other words, regardless of what computer you prefer, Memphis is at least 38 spots better than anybody else in the league, and yet was not picked to win the league by their coaches. That's disrespectful.
I find it disrespectful.
That's disrespectful.
I mean, I think the only solution is for the Tigers to just run wild all over this league. That's what I'm hoping for.
It's time to make people reap what they sow.
It's time to make people pay, and it's time to not lose to Rice at home anymore.
Man, it's always that time, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. No, I mean, all jokes aside, I don't know what the and again, nobody knows what the Tigers are going to look like. It's a brand new team, but nationally, we'll see. They play a really good schedule early on. We'll see. As far as the league goes, they should be able to dominate this league.
They should.
Should. On paper.
You ready?
Yes.
They shouldn't just be able to dominate this league because they're Memphis. They should be able to dominate this league, whatever you call them, based on the roster that's in place.
Yeah.
They're like this computer.
Like the league is not underrated. The league is bad.
The league sucks.
Yeah.
These computers are not like ranking Memphis off of brand recognition.
Right.
There is some history stuff in there.
Sure.
But they're basically taking, this is the roster Memphis has. What does it spit out? At Bart Torvik, it's a top 35 team. At KenPom, it's a top 45 team. At both places, it is significantly higher than anybody else in the American.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the coaches said, but we don't think they're actually going to win the league. Disrespectful.
I will say I've told you this before. Even though I hate the AAC,
I know you hate the AAC.
You know how much I hate the AAC.
Man,
me and all my homies, we hate the AAC.
I'll never forget this.
I do. It is kind of fun that it's UAB that's getting picked over them. There is a little history there with those basketball teams.
Sure.
So I'm cool with that. And
had some wars down there at Bartow Arena.
Yeah, and I like Andy Kennedy.
Been in some wars at Bartow.
Yeah, I like Andy Kennedy. I think he's gonna have a real basketball team. So that's kind of fun going in. At least you have something going into conference play that you're like, okay, hey, I'm looking forward to that game.
Counterpoint. Memphis is in a league where a UAB team ranked 84th in the country at KenPom is picked to finish ahead of them. That's not fun.
I don't like that.
That didn't sound fun when I put it that way.
Well, to your point, I think maybe a little disrespect.
It's all disrespectful, but rooted in, I don't want to have anything misconstrued here. I find it disrespectful. But I do understand it.
Yeah, I got you.
I find it disrespectful.
I watched last season too.
But I do understand it because the history of Memphis under Penny Hardaway is, I say this as politely as I can say it. I'm not trying to get jokes off or anything.
No.
It's they do not finish where they were projected to finish almost ever. I can run you through it. In 2019, that's year one of the Penny Hardaway era, they were picked to finish 4th. They finished 5th. The next year, they were picked to finish tied for 1st. And they finished tied for 5th. Year 3, 2021, they were picked 2nd, finished 3rd. 2022, picked 2nd, finished 3rd. 2023, picked 2nd, finished 2nd. Woohoo!
Yeah.
2024, last year, picked 2nd, finished tied for 5th. And this season, picked 2nd, TBD. In other words, in 6 seasons under Penny Hardaway, the Tigers have literally never exceeded expectations as it pertains to conference projections. They've only met expectations once in 6 years, and they have, in 5 of the 6 years under Penny Hardaway, failed to finish in the conference standings where they were projected to finish in the conference standings. So if that's what your skepticism is tied to, I got it. It makes sense. I see it.
Got to wreck this conference. I mean, you just got to wreck this conference this year.
You got to make people reap what they sow.
You do. I mean, because, dude, again, you lost another I know they haven't been amazing lately, but you lost another nothing program in SMU. That's a team that's been competitive in the AAC. They're even gone now. So,
oh, God. No, it's. I mean, here's why you got to wreck the league. Memphis is top 35 in one computer, top 45 in the other computer. 10 of the 13 AAC schools are outside of the top 100 at KenPom. It stinks.
That's what sucks about it too, is you you trip up and it's a devastating loss in this league.
Oh, they count count them as double losses.
Yeah, it is just not what it used to be. I mean, in the AAC.
I mean, it's literally not what it used to be. 7 of the 10 original members are no longer here. The only 3 are Memphis, South Florida, and Temple. It's not what it used to be in any way whatsoever. So, you got to go wreck it. But the reason coaches are skeptical, I guarantee you I could go to AAC coaches and I could say, who has the best roster? This would be interesting. I could text every AAC coach and say, who has the best roster in your league? And they would all say Memphis. And then you text them back and you say, who do you think is going to win your league? And they don't say Memphis. disrespectful.
I know it was Ron Hunter. I know it was you. I know it was you, Ron. I know it was you, Ron.
I
know it.
Ron Hunter's fingerprints are all over this. Ron Hunter's fingerprints are all over this. That's a good point, Bennett.
We'll meet you in New Orleans.
Yeah. Oh, Ron Hunter, you'll get what's coming to you.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Game 1 of the NLCS was last night.
Get it out, man.
It didn't go well.
Get it out.
Man, that didn't go.
I can't believe we are how long into this show? Okay.
That didn't go well at all. Man, that did not go the way I was hoping it would go. It was
over before it started.
You ever look forward to something all day?
Yeah.
Or even all weekend?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Even your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
You just look forward to the idea of something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, the Mets stink again. But maybe someday they'll be back in the NLCS. And, the last time they were in the NLCS, that was 2015, 9 years ago. And I actually went. Saw 2 games at Wrigley Field between the Mets and the Cubs. And got to experience that in person. And we have a real memory connected to that. And then, things don't go so well for a minute. You say, hey, but maybe one day. Nothing's guaranteed in life, but maybe one day they'll find themselves in the NLCS again. And by golly, they do. And the opponent is the big bad Dodgers with big bad Shohei. And it's like, isn't this amazing? Mets are in the NLCS. The opponent is the big bad Dodgers with the soon-to-be NL most valuable player and arguably the greatest baseball player who has ever lived. Mm-hmm. And you could eliminate them. And then if you eliminate them, waiting for you in the World Series is maybe the big bad New York Yankees and the soon-to-be AL MVP, Aaron Judge. This could really be a dream come true. And it's happening. And I spent all day yesterday waiting for that.
Yeah.
And then it just didn't go the way I thought it was going to go.
No.
Turns out, apparently, if you don't ever pitch for a long, long time, it's not great to get out there and right from the jump have to deal with Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman because you might struggle to throw strikes. And if you struggle to throw strikes, you're going to get people on base. And then if Max Muncy singles, that's a 2-run first. And then it's all uphill from there. Bennett?
I turned it off.
I turned myself off.
Yeah.
I committed temporary suicide. I do this sometimes.
Did you? The thing is, too, is the Sunday night football game sucked. So I was invested. I didn't
even look at it. I genuinely don't even know what happened in Sunday night football.
The Bengals and the Giants played a really low-scoring game. The Bengals won.
I think I remember hearing something about that last night. I turned myself off. I committed temporary suicide. Not actual suicide. I don't want to take my own life.
I got you. Me either.
I don't want my life to end. But I did want my day to end. I wanted my day to end. I had been beaten down by the day. And so, with still pitches to be thrown, after the Mets went quietly in the 8th and find themselves down 1,000,000-0, I put my head on my pillow and I closed my eyes as hard as I could. And I said, I'm ready for this day to be over. It wasn't my bedtime. I wasn't sleepy. But I committed temporary suicide. I wanted the day to be over.
I'm surprised you can do that.
Wake up today, I'll try to have a better day, but I don't know.
I'm surprised you can do that. Like when
commit temporary suicide? I do it all the time.
When I suffer sports misery, I have to sit there and like revel in it. Like I can't turn it off.
I'm exactly the opposite. I wanted it to be over. I said, I don't want to feel this way anymore.
I can't get rid of that pain. It just sits there. It just
temporary
sits
suicide.
on my body. Yeah.
You should try it. You don't have to call it that. I understand like Jess was not comfortable with the term.
Yeah.
You don't have to call it that. You call it whatever you want. It's just what I choose to call it. I call it temporary suicide. It's when you don't want your life to end, but you do want your day to end. You're tired of this day.
That's how I felt yesterday.
And it's not just like going to sleep. CJ was like, that's just called going to sleep. No. You go to sleep when it's time to go to bed, when you're tired. That's not what I was doing. It was not time for me to go to bed. I was not tired. I was just ready for my day to be over.
Yeah.
I committed temporary suicide in my bed.
I think that's just called depression.
Might be depression.
Yeah, I think
could be a form of depression.
People sleep a lot when they have depression.
Might be depression.
Yeah, if you slept more than you normally did yesterday because of something bad happening, that might be a sign of depression.
Awesome.
I felt it too. I didn't have a good day either. I understand your point about getting so excited for something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every week I convince myself, hey, this isn't going to be that bad. The Titans play a crappy team. I'm going to win all my bets. Like my fantasy teams are going to do.
Nothing good
none of
happens.
it. None of it. None of it. Absolutely none of it.
You should see me bragging to Pugs last week about how much better I've been playing golf lately. And then I go to the golf course with Pugs. Look like a schmuck.
Oh, you embarrassed yourself?
I felt embarrassed. I felt shame. I felt real shame.
You have had a rough time. Had a rough go of it.
You know, some things will turn around, or they won't.
You know what they say? All you got to do is split the first two.
Is that what they say?
That's what they say. All you got to do is split the first two, GP.
Well, that's encouraging.
When's game 2? Is it tonight? Or?
No, it's stupid 3:08
yeah,
first pitch.
We skip once we get into the
No, it's today.
Oh, it is today.
3:08 first pitch. They have made the decision.
I hate that. It is the freaking NLCS. What?
I just don't. I mean, listen, I always say this.
Do you hate ratings?
I always say this. The people running these television networks that make these decisions know what they're doing, I think.
Uh-huh.
Is Yankees Guardians really bigger than Dodgers Mets? I know the Yankees are the Yankees, but like Shohei's the biggest deal. Wouldn't you rather have the LA market and the New York market as opposed to the New York market and the Cleveland market?
Well, and again, I just don't understand. I mean, they're playing in LA, so why not just start Yankees Guardians at what time? 6 o'clock, and then play the Dodgers Mets game right after it? Like
that's what I would do. I would start
3 o'clock in the afternoon is stupid.
I would start Yankees Guardians 6 o'clock Central first pitch, and then we do Mets Dodgers at 9 o'clock Central first pitch. And that's a hell of a night, baby.
And I guarantee you their ratings would be just as good, if not better, in that time slot.
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know what they're doing either. How is anyone on the West Coast? Everybody's going to be at work.
I mean, it starts 3 o'clock our time. It's 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah, like
1 in the afternoon on a
middle
Monday.
of your work day.
It is 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday. I say these people know what they're doing, but I'm not. When I start talking about it out loud, I'm never quite as sure as you might think. I don't know if they know what they're doing. But in all seriousness, here's the thing. It'd be worse if it was like you've been looking forward to your alma mater going to the college football playoff semifinal.
Yeah.
And they get there and you've imagined how awesome it's all going to be.
Sure.
And then it's just, there's no like you're coming back tomorrow from that. You just get humiliated. Whatever the equivalent of 9-0 is in a baseball game, put that on a football scoreboard. Mm-hmm. You get humiliated, and then it's just over. At least here, 9-0, 1-0, 90-0. It all counts one victory. I'm lying to myself right now, but just let me do it. It counts for one victory, and you bounce back today. You got Sean Mania. You saw what he was made of last week,
Yeah,
didn't
I did.
You saw him dig down and grab something when he needed to.
Mm-hmm.
You got him on the bump today. Dodgers probably having to go with a bullpen game because everybody they employ is hurt, at least ones who throw pitches. And maybe you go back to Citi Field, tied 1-1.
Feeling good. You're feeling great then. Everything changes.
Everything changes.
Yeah.
Everything changes just like that. Do I believe that's the way it's going to go?
No.
I don't know what I believe, Bennett. I just know that I don't want to have to do temporary suicide 2 days in a row.
No,
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do
Especially that early.
I don't know. Yeah, and this one, at least last night, I had a 7:15 first pitch.
Yeah.
I didn't have the temporary suicide till 9:30 or so.
Right.
Today would call for a temporary suicide at 5:30, and that just gets weird for my kids,
Yeah.
Good luck. Thank you.
Number 3.
Hey, so we were talking in the opening segment about former Memphis football assistants, and we were focused on Dan Lanning, who's now, of course, the head coach at Oregon. Well, there's another former Memphis football assistant who had a nice weekend this weekend. His name is Kenny Dillingham. Used to work here for Mike Norvell. Now he's the head coach at Arizona State. For some background, this is his alma mater. And it's not like he is from Baltimore and he went to Arizona State. He grew up there. He went to school there, and now he's the head coach there. He's Arizona State's Penny Hardaway.
Okay.
All right? So, big win, post-game interview on the field. They upset a nationally ranked Utah program. It's about 90 seconds. It turns into a wild scene. Let's smile about it together.
Cam Scatterboot wow, you see him every single day. What makes him different?
His mindset. He's got a dog mentality. This team fights, and they fight, and they fight. That's who you need to talk to right now, not me.
Yeah, good luck finding him, though. Coach, what impressed you the most? What impressed you the most about your defense tonight?
We stopped the run on in the first half, and we had great red zone. We fought, man. We competed. That's what football's about, competing.
This team beat you 55-3 last year. Ultimately, in a calendar year, what's the difference?
Our work, man. We put in the work. Our kids care. We have kids that care, that do it for each other, and they...
You grew up in this town. You're an alum. When you look around and you see this moment, what's it like for you?
It's kind of crazy. I was one of these guys. I was doing this.
And he just disappears into the crowd.
Awesome job, Coach. Incredible.
That's freaking cool.
What a scene.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Unbelievable.
I like that a lot.
The chorus
What a
on
scene
the
at
field.
Arizona State.
Kenny.
For Kenny Dillingham. Like, that's why I think most people in Memphis still want this Penny Hardaway thing to get back on the tracks and take off, because that's what you get. Like,
I want him to have that moment.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
man.
what when not campaigned, that's probably too strong of a word, but certainly when you were trying to publicly make the case for Penny Hardaway to be the head coach at his alma mater, what you envision is scenes like that. Obviously, football's
sure.
different than basketball, but
Still.
what you envision is scenes like that. And there have been some good moments, but we haven't had enough of those, I don't think.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, maybe we'll get it back someday. Congratulations either way to Kenny Dillingham. I remember when he was here and Mike promoted him to offensive coordinator, and he was like very young. He's obviously still very young. I believe the youngest coach in Division I football. And I remember doing the show, and you were there. And I said, listen, I don't really know much about Kenny Dillingham other than what I've read.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I've ever met him, but here's what I know. Mike Norvell is considered one of the smartest, brightest rising stars in the coaching profession, because he was considered that at the time. That's how he got the Florida State job. And for him to put somebody this young in charge of something, like, that's not normal to hand over something like this to somebody that young. He sees something in him that's special. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. And this happens sometimes in coaching. Billy Donovan was late 20s, early 30s when he became a Division I head coach.
Mm-hmm.
John Calipari, same thing. Rick Pitino, same thing. Sometimes people identify something. When you see a super young, unusually young person be handed something like this in a way that's uncommon, it is usually because somebody recognizes something in them. It makes you go, God, this person's so young. I've never hired somebody this young to do this job. Never even really thought about it. But this person is so impressive, I'm going to do it. I was confident in Kenny Dillingham because I knew that Mike Norvell must have seen something in him to make him do what he did. And now the guy's having success as the head coach at Arizona State just a few years later. So congrats to him.
Yeah, congrats.
Wonderful scene.
Yeah, is it appropriate to rush the field when you beat number 16 if you're Arizona State?
Bennett.
And I don't want to rain on the parade.
Bennett, given what I've been going through,
yeah,
I think you should find joy wherever you can find it.
Like, I think if
celebrate whatever you can celebrate, because one day you'll look up and you won't have anything to celebrate.
Like, I think if the University of Memphis beat the number 16th ranked team in the country at the Liberty Bowl, like, or at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, I think you could make the case for rushing the field. That you haven't done that a lot.
I'm not a field rushing judge. I'm not a field rushing shamer. I'm not a field rushing judge.
When you're in a big league like that, and I think when you beat number 16 and rush the field, I don't know. I just.
You know what I saw?
I think you got to save it for top 10.
Listen, I had a weekend.
Yeah.
And they had a weekend.
Yeah.
They look a lot happier than me.
Do you know what?
They look like they were having a lot more fun this weekend than me.
I'm just bitter.
I'm just not going to sit here and
yeah.
I'll be jealous of other people's happiness, but I won't criticize them for being happy.
Yeah,
I'll envy them, but I will not judge them.
I got to work on that because I am jealous and bitter. Like, I don't enjoy watching other fan bases have fun.
I like to see people be happy.
Because I'm never having fun. I don't even know why I watch sports.
I don't know. Sometimes either. I don't know.
No, I had fun watching the Tigers win this weekend. That was nice.
That was fun.
Yeah.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And good job, Kenny Dillingham.
Good job.
They looked like they were having
That's what I
fun.
meant to
And if
say.
you want to run and jump around on the field, that's a memory those people will have forever.
You're damn right it is.
You can big hate on it, but I'm not going to. I'm happy for those people.
Number 4.
So you might have heard the Timberwolves and the Knicks had a big trade recently. It shipped Karl Anthony Towns to New York and a bunch of Knicks to Minneapolis. And they met last night in a preseason game.
That worked out well.
It got a little feisty.
It did get feisty.
So what you think is the story probably isn't even the story at all. This was a weird thing that happened last night. And there's a bunch of different videos, but some of them have been taken down. And I'd rather just tell you the story than show you what happened. So they're playing. And at some point, Dante DiVincenzo, one of the former Villanova players who was a part of the Villanova Knicks, he drives in traffic, I think gets bumped, and finishes. And one goes to the free throw line. They happen to be on the side of the court where the Knicks bench is, and he looks over at Tom Thibodeau and says something. And this very quickly gets aggravated, captions put on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere, because it sounded to some people like Dante DiVincenzo looked at Tom Thibodeau, his former coach, and said, "Thanks for the trade, Tibbs. Thanks for the trade. This is what happens when they put you in charge." That's the way I consume the story. That's the way you consume the story. That is the thing that was trending on social media last night. Ooh, juicy. Hurt feelings here because he's talking crazy to his old coach. So they go to the locker room afterwards, talk to Dante DiVincenzo, and they're like, "So we saw that moment with you and Tibbs. You said, 'Thanks for the trade, Tibbs.'" He said, "I did not say thanks for the trade, Tibbs." And they're like, he's like, "I said, I can't finish Tibbs." The implication being Tibbs used to give him a hard time in practices or something. "Oh, there you go again, missing another layup. You can't finish in traffic," that kind of thing. And so when he finishes in traffic against his former team, he looks over at Tibbs and is like, "Oh, remember you used to say I didn't finish in traffic?" That's what happened. It was good-natured, just back and forth, I guess, between two people who used to work together.
Yep.
It wasn't the way it was presented to the whole world last night. Like, people woke up this morning thinking Dante DiVincenzo was saying, I bet it's in the New York papers, "Thanks for the trade, Tibbs." He didn't really say it. Isn't that wild? You can start trending for doing something you didn't even actually do. I guess that's where we're at.
I mean, clearly, whatever he said pissed off Jalen Brunson's dad.
Okay, then you got that one.
Yeah.
And it's unclear. Like, there's some thought that maybe he was saying this is what happens when they let you run things. There's some
I thought I heard that when I watched
No,
the
he
video.
did say that.
Yes.
This is what, but he didn't say "Thanks for the trade, Tibbs." He said, "I can't finish, Tibbs." But he did say, "This is what happens when they let you run things," or something like that. And there's some thought that he was saying that to Rick Brunson, Jalen Brunson's dad. And they had to be separated, kind of, after the game.
He said that's some sucker shit.
I like that term, too.
Yeah, I heard that loud and clear.
I like that term.
Yeah, I like that, too.
I don't use it enough.
I've never said that. I might have to adopt that one.
Let's at least start saying it to each other.
Okay.
We'll practice on each other.
Okay.
And then we'll take it out.
Wait for a moment.
Then we'll take it out into the world. We'll practice on each other, and then we'll take it out to the world. Then we'll use it wherever it seems like it works. So they go to Dante DiVincenzo, and afterwards they ask him about that part too. He said, I don't want to get into it. He said, "Listen, Jalen's my brother, my best friend. You know, Rick and I have a different relationship."
So I guess so.
So just it wasn't as it appeared to be. That's true at this point.
Yeah.
But there's still some hurt feelings there.
Oh yeah.
And that seems totally understandable to me, because when the Knicks trade you away from all your best friends, they're not exactly saying we don't want you, but what they are saying is we would rather have somebody else.
Yes.
I mean, that's the nature of a trade. It's not necessarily, because some people were twisted into like, well, the Knicks told him, they didn't tell him they don't want him. They just said, we love you, but if we can get this thing, Karl Anthony Towns, then you got to go. So it's not quite, they said, we don't want you here anymore, but it still hurts.
Yeah.
They're told you're told by somebody you cared about and believed in and had a relationship with. What you were told is, we think we can be better without you here anymore if we can get this other thing for you. And that would hurt. That would hurt me.
Yeah, and I think, too, it gets even more amplified when both sides believe that they are going, like both of these teams are supposed to be really good. And I think it gets a little amplified because you can't really put your finger on, it's better for this guy, it's better for that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there are some numbers that were run that suggest both teams are going to be better having made this trade. I don't know if I buy that completely because I don't think Minnesota was motivated by getting better as much as they were motivated by we can't spend all this money hitting an apron at that level. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I think both teams.
If I'm DiVincenzo, it's like, me leaving's the reason y'all are going to be better. And then if you're like Karl Anthony Towns, probably with the Timberwolves, me being gone, that y'all are going to be better.
It's easy for me to understand how people's feelings could be hurt in this situation and how it could escalate to whatever level it escalated yesterday.
Number 5.
Lions 47, Cowboys 9, down at AT&T Stadium.
That was some sucker shit.
Woo! Who had a worse Sunday than me and Vernon?
Bro,
good Lord.
That was... me with the Titans, which thank God they weren't even brought up today because they suck.
Yeah,
and their quarterback sucks, like I've been saying.
Yep.
But at least I don't got to deal with that.
That was humiliating. That's the type of stuff that happens where you show up to work the next morning, you don't know if your access card's going to work.
On Jerry Jones' birthday.
You make that man
on his birthday,
dude. On his birthday.
So I can't believe you're right. I can't believe someone hasn't gotten fired yet.
That's the type of thing that gets people fired. That's the type of thing where you wake up Sunday morning saying, there is no way I would fire my coach no matter what happens today. And you wake up Monday morning going, should I? Should I though?
Oh, if I'm kind of surprised he didn't get fired. I will say. Because it's close. If that happens again, he is getting fired.
Some things are so bad that it's just like, bro, we can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And that felt like one of them.
It really did.
He might survive this one, but you're right. He won't survive another one.
No.
You put another one of these on the table, buddy. You're going to have to clean the desk out.
That loss, that's like a team that's like supposed to be, the Lions, a team that's supposed to be your peer and competing for the NFC, and just like they come into your place and wreck you like that. Woo. Yeah.
Where's your heart at? Where's your heart at?
Feel bad for Cowboys fans today. No, I don't. I don't feel bad at all.
I feel bad. I feel bad.
They asked for this.
Did they?
They asked for this.
Then it says you asked for it. I don't know if that's true, but that is what he said. Mm-hmm. Dre Davis is a transfer from Seton Hall who is expected to star at Ole Miss this season for an Ole Miss team that is expected to be in the NCAA tournament. He's going to join me next on Zoom from Oxford. Dre Davis after the break. It's the Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
Justin Timberlake. I'm bringing sexy back. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up JustinTimberlake.com.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Somebody else we have not seen in a long time is Morant. Since you've seen him, does he look any different to you, or is this the same superstar Ja that we were used to?
He's always getting better, so you just got to watch out for that. That's.
And it's a
he's
revenge
always,
tour.
yeah.
It's a revenge tour, like the world's forgotten about me. And
I don't think they forgot.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Come pigeon with us, Roser. Roser, right here.
You get downward dog.
Yes,
okay. You're gonna go leg up.
Can I?
Okay.
Leg under.
Oh!
Oh, yeah, my bad. I thought that's what you were doing.
You go back.
Yeah, but then you sit. Oh, you're flexible.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Congratulations to the Vanderbilt Commodores. They have actually hit the over on their win total for the season. Winning number 3. Their total was 2.5.
Hey, listen. If I had told you Vanderbilt was going to hit the over on their win total against Alabama,
Yeah.
you guys would have kicked me off the show.
Crazy. Absolutely insane.
I tried to argue that they were going to be bowl eligible.
And I said that was good. And they still might not be.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What do you think about this matchup against the Pirates and the Bison?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is who in the hell put Gus Johnson as the notable alumni selection when we got Kamala Harris right now that's more relevant? It's 28 people I would have named before I would have got the Gus Johnson.
My assumption is, Mike, Hampton will find a way to come up again.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Is Ja Morant the player in the NBA with the most approved going into this season?
Ja Morant is one of the best players in the world. He's one of the best players in the world.
On the court, there is no question, barring injury, that what Ja Morant is.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
We got to talk about the best wrestling that we watched all week. You're up.
I think Brunson Reed and Braun Strowman put on a 5-star match in 60 seconds. I've never seen it happen before. Brunson Reed chunks the fan at Braun. I'm like, where the hell did that dude come from?
I got a tweet saying it's a good thing they're not in Memphis, or else that would have been one of the Memphis wrestling guys getting hurled.
Exactly.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I'm inside the Built Ford Tough studio, and Dre Davis is a fifth-year college basketball player down at Ole Miss after transferring from Seton Hall, where he averaged 15 points per game last season and helped the Pirates beat UConn in the regular season and then win the NIT. He's expected to be a key member of an Ole Miss team that is expected to make the NCAA tournament this season for the first time since 2019. And Dre Davis is joining me now from Ole Miss. Dre, it's Gary Parrish up in Memphis, man. How you been?
I've been good, and yourself?
Everything's perfect in my world, man. I appreciate you being here. And let's just start with what I mentioned. You grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana. You went to college in Louisville, Kentucky, then at Seton Hall in New Jersey. Now you're in Oxford, Mississippi. How do you like your new home in Oxford, Mississippi?
It's been good. It's been a warm welcome. The people have been good here. It's been a lot of fun. Getting back to being able to see football games. Yeah, it's been fun so far.
I mentioned you're from Indianapolis. One of the greatest Memphis Grizzlies players in history is also from Indianapolis, Mike Conley. I think you were probably a little too young to remember Mike when he was in high school in Indianapolis, but certainly you've followed his career. Have you had interactions with Mike Conley, or how much does he matter in Indianapolis to younger basketball players?
So I mean, me personally, I haven't had too much interactions with him, but obviously, growing up, being a basketball state, we've had a lot of NBA guys and just a lot of guys who had great careers come out of Indiana. So they kind of just set the pathway for Indiana basketball, and just what basketball means in Indiana.
So take me back to last season. You're at Seton Hall. As I mentioned before, you guys are one of only 3 teams that beat UConn last season. You're on the bubble, and then you are left out of the NCAA tournament, even though you went 13-7 in the Big East, which was considered the second best conference in America and the conference that produced the 2-time national champions. How disappointing was that when you realized on Selection Sunday you're not playing in the NCAA tournament?
No, for sure. That night, watching the selection show, it hurt, especially going into it. We had expectations of hearing our name being called, and obviously going into the season, that was our goal to make the NCAA tournament. So not hearing our name being called that night definitely hurt.
You know, often when a power conference team, a type of program that had accomplished all the stuff you guys had accomplished, when you're left out of the NCAA tournament and so disappointed, they don't have a lot of interest in the NIT. Some teams will just turn down the invitations. Other people accept them, and then they get eliminated quickly because, the heart just wasn't in it. You guys got hot, played well, won the whole thing. How were you able to rally interest in that event to, finish the season on a high note like you guys did?
For us, it started with a meeting with our starting 5, which was we were all seniors at the time. So we had 2 seniors that were on there last year, and the conversation was pretty much, this was their last year. They wanted to continue to play. We wanted to continue to play, and we said if we were going to do it, we were going to go all in, and we was going to give it our all. We weren't going to half-step it. And so when we, sat down, came to that collective decision, that's what it was. And, first game, it was kind of rough. But after that first game, we got going, we got hot, and we were all in.
I'm talking to Dre Davis, Ole Miss guard, here on the Gary Parrish Show. Then after the season, you entered the transfer portal. Explain to me what that's like for a player of your caliber to enter the transfer portal in the era of transfer waivers and NIL. I imagine it gets a little chaotic.
You could look at it a couple different ways. I've been on both sides of the spectrum, entering the portal, not getting a lot of interest, and then, getting in the portal, getting a lot of interest. So I kind of just seen it as a blessing, just valuing where I've came, how far I came along in my journey. So I just use it as a blessing and, try to find a right home for my last year.
And so now you're down in Oxford. You are playing for somebody who is quite literally considered one of the best college basketball coaches in the country. He has accomplished unprecedented things at multiple schools. And I'll be honest with you, when I would talk to NBA people in recent years and ask them, when they're popping into practices, who impresses you, who's running the best practices, there was a time where I would hear like Tony Bennett really runs a good practice or Jay Wright really runs a good practice. It got to a point to where the name I heard more often than any other was Chris Beard. What does a Chris Beard practice look like?
Super, super, super competitive. I feel like a lot of programs obviously want to be competitive, but I feel like this program has a way of doing it. They track everything from shooting when you come in the gym late nights and you get shots up. It's super competitive. We got a scoreboard up, keeping stats, keeping track of your makes and misses. It's stats going during practice. Everybody's competing, whether that's assist turnover ratio, rebounds, or whatever the case may be. Everybody's competing for a specific goal. Or things that they want to improve on. So, going into practice, everybody has a goal in mind. Okay, this is my objective today. I want to win in this specific area today. So practices are super competitive.
I'm married to an Ole Miss grad. I have neighbors who are Ole Miss grads. Whenever anybody asks me about Ole Miss this season, I say that's a team that's probably going to get votes in the preseason AP poll. It's a borderline top 25 team on paper, a team that should be in the NCAA tournament. How do you assess where this Ole Miss program is right now? You know what NCAA tournament teams look like. Again, you were on a team that beat UConn last season. You've beaten a lot of NCAA tournament teams since you've been in college. What you're seeing in Oxford, does it look like a tournament team to you?
Yeah, I believe in the pieces we got here and the staff that we have. You know, we are a super mature team, a lot of veterans with a lot of experience from a different area. So I think we have exactly what we need to be able to be a tournament team and be a top 25 team. And obviously, like you said, we have the staff to do so with, Chris Beard, the head coach, very accomplished and knows what he's doing. So, as long as we buy in and continue to believe, what he's trying to accomplish here, which we are, which I believe, and I think we have a very good chance of, being a team that we all believe we can be.
You have scored a lot of points and accomplished a lot of things in college, but one thing I've seen you reference that you've never done is play on an NCAA tournament team. How important is that to you to leave college having said, for the rest of your life, I played in that event one time?
No, that's the most important thing for me. It's my last year to be able to do so. That's the main goal. It's the main focus, man. That's the most important thing for me this year. Not only to say I played in it, but I want to actually, do something. I want to make a run. I want to be able to say, no, we went on a run and did something special. So I mean, that's the main focus is to win.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate your time. I can't wait to get down to Oxford. I'm going to do that soon and see you guys pretty earlier in the season. Like I mentioned, all expectations are that the Ole Miss Rebels should be in the NCAA tournament in 2025 for the first time since 2019, and you are expected to be a big part of that. I appreciate your time today, and I'll see you again real soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, take care. That's Dre Davis from Ole Miss, the 15-point-per-game scorer at Seton Hall last season, who was a big part of, like I mentioned, the only team, one of only 3 teams that beat UConn in that regular season. Ole Miss should be good. They got Dre Davis, Matthew Morrell, Memphis native down there, and Chris Beard, again, is considered, one of the best basketball tacticians, basketball coaches in the sport. And so that's a nice combination they have down there in Oxford. It should be a good season in what is a super, super tough SEC. I don't know if you noticed this morning, but when the KenPom numbers updated for this upcoming season, the Big 12 has been consistently considered the best conference in the country and has ranked number 1 at KenPom 3 straight years. Guess who's number 1 right now?
The SEC.
The SEC.
How about it?
And Jerry Palm thinks that they could put 11 teams in the NCAA tournament.
Damn.
It just means more.
It sure does.
Even in men's basketball. Wild story I ran into early this morning. Bath and Body Works. You know them? You know them fellas?
Of course I know Bath and Body Works.
Well,
bought many a gift there.
They're in hot water now.
Uh-oh.
They're in hot water now. You know what they were doing at Bath and Body Works?
What?
Selling KKK candles, or at least candles that look like KKK candles. And that's tacky. That's not a great thing to do. So they've had to apologize. I'll show it to you next.
Okay.
I'll show it to you next. You tell me what you see. It's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
What do you think about this matchup against the Pirates and the Bison?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is who in the hell put Gus Johnson as the notable alumni selection when we got Kamala Harris right now? That's more relevant. It's 28 people I would have named before I would have got the Gus Johnson.
My assumption is, Mike, Hampton will find a way to come up again. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
How much have you added weight since your rookie year?
Bro, I think I was like 20?
Rookie, you were
40 pounds.
You
I'm
were
like 265.
You 265 right now?
In between that and like 273, I'm floating in there.
What? You have looked at a scale and it said 273.
With shoes on, but still.
Too little.
That's not phone posits either, right?
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
At Southland Casino Hotel, it's time to work hard, play hard with our $500,000 giveaway. Earn entries October through November 9th and take home free play and amazing prizes on select Saturdays, including a big rig. Stay connected on social media for weekly drawing clues. Join us November 9th for the grand finale drawing where you could drive off in a four-wheeler, side-by-side, or big rig. Work hard and play harder at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Maxwell in concert. The Serenade Tour. October 16th at FedEx Forum. Maxwell. With special guest Jasmine Sullivan. And October London. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Maxwell Live.
Justin Timberlake. I'm bringing sexy back. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Congratulations to the Vanderbilt Commodores. They have actually hit the over on their win total for the season. Winning number 3. Their total was 2.5.
Hey, listen. If I had told you Vanderbilt was going to hit the over on their win total against Alabama, you guys would have kicked me off the show.
Crazy. Absolutely insane.
I tried to argue that they were going to be bowl eligible.
And I said that was good. And they still might not be.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
We got to talk about the best wrestling that we watched all week. You're up.
I think Brunson Reed and Braun Strowman put on a 5-star match in 60 seconds. I've never seen it happen before. Brunson Reed chunks the fan at Braun. I'm like, where the hell did that dude come from?
I got a tweet saying it's a good thing they're not in Memphis, or else that would have been one of the Memphis wrestling guys getting hurled.
Exactly.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Bath and Body Works. Oh, they've done it again.
Have they?
They're up to their old antics.
I'll be the judge of that.
Bath and Body Works. You know Bath and Body Works.
Of course I do. I bought a million gifts at Bath and Body Works.
What do you think? What do you think people?
Women love Bath and Body Works.
I guess they do. That's a little bit sexist, I think, probably. But you know, the truth is the truth.
Okay. Well, I mean, what do you want me to say? They ain't got a bunch of stuff that I want.
I would say people like Bath and Body Works. I wouldn't make it just about women unless you want to keep them in the kitchen.
Okay, dude. I use like Old Spice body wash and deodorant. Like I'm not really the
Bath and Body Works guy.
No,
I understand. The truth
There's not a lot there for me.
Hey, the truth is the truth, Bennett.
Okay, fine.
Speak your truth.
Those candles smell good, though. Those candles smell good.
I like a good candle.
I love a good candle. I do.
I'll tell you one thing you don't ever want to do, though.
What?
Light a nice candle and then have it melt all over a desk and then take all the wax off of the desk, like peel it off, and then flush it down the toilet because that'll mess up your toilet.
Oh, yeah, you can't do that.
Some of us learned that the hard way.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I learned it the hard way. I learned that the hard way. So Bath & Body Works, they're selling candles. That's what they do. And they were selling this candle that I'm about to show you, but they're not selling it anymore. But they sold it for a minute, and then they had to stop selling it. See if you can figure out why they decided we shouldn't be selling this.
All right.
That was dubbed the KKK candle.
Okay.
The Ku Klux Klan candle.
And that's obviously a snowflake, which I got to be honest, I don't like how that word's thrown around sometimes.
What word?
Snowflake.
Oh, I got it used on me a few times around the way.
I think we might have a bit of a snowflake situation.
You think this is a snowflake situation?
Dude, I get it. Yes. Like clearly they screwed up, like, because like that does definitely look like a bunch of Klans members. Like it does, but it's just it's a cutout snowflake. Like no one intentionally did this.
Okay, but you got to catch this stuff, don't you?
I think when you're having the meeting where you're in the boardroom and you're showing like your new products off and everything like that, I would think.
I would too.
Someone. Now, you don't want to piss off your bosses, though. Like, I don't know.
Here's what I would do. I would raise my hand and I would say.
You know what that kind of looks like?
I would say, hey, maybe it's my eyes and maybe my head's just in a weird place. So I'm compelled to point it out, but I'm not here to fight with you about it. But I am compelled to point it out. And maybe we'll find out that my eyes are just goofy and I'm seeing something that's not there.
Yeah.
Or we might find out that maybe I'm seeing something that we need to see. And they'd say, what's that, GP? And I'd say, it looks like you got KKK candles. That's what I would say. I would say, it looks like KKK candles.
I'm fine with pulling it. If I was Bath & Body, you know what I might do if I was the CEO of Bath & Body Works?
Man, I wish you were the CEO of Bath & Body Works.
I might walk up to the microphone and say, listen.
That's a good way to start everything, by the way, just say listen.
If you think for our holiday candle collection that we made a KKK candle, then you are an idiot. And we're not taking it down because it is a simple snowflake.
No, okay. That's one way. I don't know how much longer you're going to last as a CEO at Bath & Body Works talking like that. That's one way to do it, though. Here's the way I would do it. I would say, listen. I would start with listen, too. I would say, listen.
Guys,
calm down, okay? Calm down. This is a Christmas candle. This is what we do at Bath & Body Works.
You're damn right. Do we do it well?
We do it well, all right? But do you really think under any circumstances we would put ourselves in a position intentionally where we have to answer questions like this? Like, you really think we wanted to push a KKK candle? We had a blind spot. We didn't see what you see until it was too late, but we see it now.
Yeah.
So we'll recall them all. They will no longer be available for purchase. We're sorry, but I hope you know and trust that our intent was always pure. We were just trying to make a snow
Christmas memories
candle.
Yeah.
That's it. I actually think that's the proper response.
Yeah.
Like if you're out there like, cancel Bath & Body Works, then you're a weirdo. They just messed up. I'm confident they didn't mean anything by this. It's just something that happened. You know what it is? It's their version of our penis court.
Oh, it is. It's the Bath & Body Works penis court.
This is their penis court.
Yeah,
I'll never forget being in FedEx Forum the night the penis court was unveiled.
Man.
And
I credit you with getting rid of that penis court.
I made that happen.
You started that movement.
I identified the penis immediately.
And it was an unpopular thing to identify early on.
Sometimes you just have to stand up for what's right.
Yeah.
Bennett, I learned a long time ago. I ain't trying to be everybody's best friend, all right?
Yeah.
I got enough friends. I really don't know if I have enough friends. But I'll just say that. I have enough friends.
Yep.
I ain't trying to be everybody's best friend. Sometimes you got to stand up and just tell the truth.
Yeah.
And I stood up while everybody else, Memphis media.
Oh, grow up.
Oh, no, they were like, oh, look, in the court, cool. You go find the initial reaction to that court. People were pleasuring themselves to it.
I know.
They were pleasuring themselves to that court.
Yeah.
And I said, first off, the color is outrageous. It looks awful. And secondly, there's a penis on it.
Two
penises.
Yeah.
It's double penetration, Bennett.
No, Jesus. Oh, yeah, I'm glad.
So
yeah.
and then everybody came along and they were like, okay, he's right. GP's right. We do have a penis on our court. And then they had to paint it, and then they ultimately got rid of the whole thing.
Yes,
right?
correct.
But I was put in a position. I'm not trying to be.
You did the right thing.
The most popular person every day, Bennett. I'm trying to be on the right side of history.
Yeah. You did the right thing with that penis court.
I think so too. I think so too. And this is Bath and Body Works. Now, same thing. I don't think anybody at Memphis was intentionally trying to put a penis on a court.
Of course not.
They just didn't see it the way that I see it. Maybe my eyes are just better than other people's eyes.
Yeah.
You think that's it?
I
Is that
think
the
it could be it.
explanation?
That could be it.
Nobody was, same thing, Memphis and Bath Body, same thing. Nobody was trying to do anything goofy. It's just something that happened, and then for whatever reason, nobody's eyes are as good as my eyes.
Correct.
I can't explain it. I'm not here to explain it. I'm just here to spend 6 or 7 minutes on it, I guess.
Yeah, I got
All right.
you.
Be back with GP's carryout.
Great.
Come pigeon with us, Roser. Roser, right here.
You get downward dog.
Yes,
Okay. Gonna go leg up.
Cannot.
Okay.
Leg under.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I thought that's what you were doing.
Go back.
Yeah, but then you sit. Oh, you're flexible.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
We have not talked to you since we got the big fella that's going to go next to you. What has impressed you about him, though? Just being on the same court with him, because you've watched him a lot in college. You got to see him. We got to see him very, very little in summer league.
Very quick twitch, like decision making. Yeah. No real fear of anything. Like very vocal, able to talk through the game. But I mean, like, dude won Player of the Year twice. Like
I know.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Is Ja Morant the player in the NBA with the most approved going into this season?
Ja Morant is one of the best players in the world. He's one of the best players in the world.
On the court, there is no question, barring injury, that what Ja Morant is.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What do you think about this matchup against the Pirates and the Bison?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is who in the hell put Gus Johnson as the notable alumni selection when we got Kamala Harris right now that's more relevant? It's 28 people I would have named before I would have got the Gus Johnson.
My assumption is, Mike, Hampton will find a way to come up again. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
If I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Maxwell in concert. The Serenade Tour. October 16th at FedEx Forum. Maxwell. With special guest Jasmine Sullivan. And October London. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Maxwell Live.
Congratulations to the Vanderbilt Commodores. They have actually hit the over on their win total for the season. Winning number 3. Their total was 2.5.
Hey, listen. If I had told you Vanderbilt was going to hit the over on their win total against Alabama, you guys would have kicked me off the show.
Crazy. Absolutely insane.
I tried to argue that they were going to be bowl eligible.
And I said that was good. And they still might not be.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board. A class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but can I give you some breaking news from the past hour?
You sure can.
The preseason Associated Press Top 25 poll has been published.
All right.
And your number one is the Kansas Jayhawks with 30
Shocker.
first-place votes. That is also who I have number one in the top 25 and 1. They are followed by Alabama at number 2. That is also who I have number 2 in the top 25 and 1. UConn comes in at number 3, followed by Houston at 4 and Iowa State at 5. Some schools of note: Bruce Pearl's Auburn's
hard to say.
Hold up. Can I not say Auburn?
Auburn, yeah.
There
you go.
That was a little.
No, that one's tough.
That was unsettling.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'd forgotten how to say Auburn.
Because
and that's not good in my profession.
No, that's tough. Because you want to say like Arbor, like Arbor Day.
I don't think I've ever struggled with that word before, and I just ran into it. I need to practice a little bit.
I've struggled before, yeah.
Bruce Pearl's Tigers are 11th in the country. Rick Barnes' Tennessee Vols, they're 12th. John Calipari's Arkansas Razorbacks come in at 16th. Remember our old friend Cincinnati? They used to live in our neighborhood. They used to be our neighbors. They're in the Big 12 now. They're ranked 20th in the country. Kentucky, with new coach Mark Pope, 23. And look there, at number 24, that's Dre Davis's.
How about that?
Ole Miss Rebels. Also receiving votes, Mississippi State got 6 votes in the AP poll. UAB actually got 4. Little Rock got 3. High Point got 1. Princeton got a couple. Your Memphis Tigers. Guess how many points they got in the AP poll? I'll give you a hint.
0.
No hint necessary. 0.
Damn.
Disrespectful. Do you find it disrespectful?
That's okay. I like it.
You like being disrespected?
Yeah.
Hey, we're keeping notes, aren't we? Hey, we're keeping receipts.
I got receipts.
We're keeping receipts.
What's today's biggest game?
I'm not gonna make you pick the Mets-Dodgers game because I don't want to force you down that road.
Okay.
All right. Let's just focus on Monday Night Football. Are you ready for some football Monday Night Party?
I am ready.
This should be fun, shouldn't it?
I think it'll be a good one. Yeah.
Bills-Jets, we're at MetLife Stadium. Buffalo -1 on the road. Totals 41.5. How you gonna act?
Man, that is weird. That is a weird line. I mean, give me the Bills, but that's interesting. I would have thought the Bills would have been favored by maybe 3.5.
You don't buy into the idea. You don't buy into the idea that Aaron Rodgers and the Jets will rally after murdering their own coach.
I do not.
You don't think they'll rally, turn things around after the death of Robert Saleh?
No, I think
he's not dead. He just got fired.
I think they are losing tonight.
Bennett thinks they're losing tonight. He says take Buffalo -1 on the road. Kick 7:15. It's on ESPN or ABC.
What are we watching on TV?
Buddy, it's Monday Night Raw, 7 o'clock USA Network. live from Evansville, Indiana.
Oh, that's cool.
Live from Evansville, Indiana.
What's going on Raw tonight?
Okay. The two champs, Cody Rhodes and Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
They will...
Because they're doing the clash.
They're going to have to talk to each other tonight.
Yeah.
You never know how that's going to go.
That'd be good. I like Gunther.
I do too.
Yeah.
Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill will defend their titles against Damage Control. I bet I know how that's going to go.
I bet they're going to beat the crap out of Damage Control.
Damage Control goes down.
Yeah, they're going to
tonight.
be the ones controlling the damage.
Braun Breaker and Kofi Kingston.
Okay.
Whatever.
Random.
How about this? Ooh, how about this?
Okay.
Rhea Ripley and Tiffany Stratton against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Okay,
I like
go.
that one. I like that one. I like that one.
Let's go.
I like a tag match with some stakes.
I like a tag match with some stakes
Yeah,
too.
okay.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm in. I'll watch Raw. It's actually a good TV night.
Yeah.
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 Monday Night Football. You got baseball. You got Raw.
I'll either be celebrating a Game 2 Mets victory while I'm watching Raw, or I'll I can make myself go to sleep whenever I want to. You know what I'm saying? I can do it. If I have to do it again, I'll do it again.
Randy says that tonight's Raw was pre-taped.
What the?
Because they were in England, remember?
Oh, yeah, and they had a hard time getting back.
Yeah.
Well,
so it might suck.
That stinks.
We'll give it a shot.
We'll give it a shot, but that's not what I wanted to hear.
What's the best thing we've read?
Jason Munz and Parth over at the Daily Mem, they both had sit-down Q&As with Penny Hardaway. So if you haven't read those yet, they were described as candid and introspective. So if you want to hear Penny, he did take the time to sit down with multiple beat writers and talk to them. And he hasn't done that consistently in the offseason. So they were both interesting reads. You can find them both, commercialappeal.com, dailymemphian.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's Tuesday. Hoops for St. Jude Tip-Off Classic happening right here in downtown Memphis. Chris Vernon will join me in studio. We'll get you ready for tomorrow night's exhibition. Should be fun. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy mine. We're going to meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good, rep your hood.